two of the greatest footballers of their generation, Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modrić, share a pitch one more time. Both past 40, possibly for the very last time in their careers. One of these teams has owned this matchup for 2 decades, the other has made a habit of going deep when nobody expects it. And the experts? They're quietly asking whether one of these giants is even the real deal at all. This is Portugal versus Croatia. Let's break it down. The basics, quickly. This is a round of 32 knockout, Thursday, July 2nd, in Toronto. Win and you're in the last 16. Lose and your World Cup is over. And here's a wrinkle that surprises people. For all their history, Portugal and Croatia have never once met at a World Cup. This is the first time, ever. Let's start with the storyline the whole football world is locked onto. Ronaldo and Modrić. Ronaldo is 41 now, Modrić is 40, and realistically, for at least one of them, this could be the final act of a legendary international career. What makes it almost poetic is their shared history. The two of them were teammates at Real Madrid for 6 seasons, and they lifted for Champions League titles together, side by side. Think about that, for European Cups won as teammates, and now, in their 40s, they line up on opposite sides for sudden death football. You couldn't script it better. Now they meet as opponents, on the biggest stage in the sport, with a place in the last 16 on the line. And neither is here to make up the numbers. Ronaldo rolled back the years with a brace against Uzbekistan in the group stage. At 41, he was the only Portugal player to score more than once across all 3 games. Modrić, the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner, reminded everyone he still has the magic, a vintage performance against Ghana, gliding through midfield and setting up the winner. There's a bittersweet edge to it, too, because Portugal's stumble in the group stage means the dream of a Messi vs Ronaldo World Cup farewell now feels almost impossible. The two can only meet in the final. So this, right here, might be the last great act these legends give us. So how did both teams land here? Portugal finished second in Group K, and it was a strange group for them. They opened with a flat 1-1 draw against DR Congo, then thumped a poor Uzbekistan side 5-0, and then closed with another goalless draw, this time against Colombia. 5 points, a healthy goal difference, but 2 blank draws against the better sides in the group. Roberto Martinez has one of the deepest, most talented midfields on the planet, and yet Portugal have, at times, looked slow and predictable. Tellingly, Bernardo Silva, a Manchester City star, didn't even start the last couple of games. For a team plenty of people fancied as a dark horse for the title, it has been a curiously flat start. Croatia's road was almost the opposite shape. They started terribly, outplayed and beaten 4-2 by England in their opener. But then the old champions' mentality kicked in, a gritty 1-0 win over Panama, and a 2-1 victory over Ghana to snatch second place in Group L. Goals were shared around. Susic, Vlasic, Budimir, Baturina, and Musa all chipped in. And don't forget who you're dealing with. This is the Croatia that reached the World Cup final in 2018 and finished third in 2022, a team that won both of its knockout games at the last World Cup on penalty shootouts. They are battle-hardened, patient, and never, ever easy to beat. Now the history between them, and it's lopsided. In 8 official meetings since 2005, Portugal have won 6, drawn 1, and lost just once. The last time they played, back in 2020, Portugal won 4-1. So on paper, and on history, Portugal are firmly in the driver's seat. But knockout football doesn't care much about the past. Tactically, this is a classic contrast of styles. Croatia will sit in a compact, disciplined block, try to frustrate Portugal, stay dangerous from set pieces, and look to strike on the counter. Exactly the kind of stubborn, deliberate game that has given Portugal fits all tournament. Portugal, with creators like Bruno Fernandes and Bernardo Silva, have the firepower to break almost anyone down when they're switched on. They've got real pace out wide to stretch a backline, too. But Croatia are masters of slowing a game to a crawl, controlling the tempo through Modrić in midfield, and then punishing you from a single set piece. So the whole tie hinges on one question, the same one that's followed Portugal all summer. Can they actually impose themselves on a smart, organized opponent? Or will they get bogged down and frustrated, the way they did against Colombia and Congo? If Croatia turn this into a slow, tight, low-scoring grind, that plays directly into their hands, and we've seen where their grinds can lead. So what are the experts and the bookmakers actually saying? Start with the odds, because they capture how tight this is. Portugal are favourites, but only just, roughly plus 130 to win in regulation, with Croatia out around plus 260 and the draw in between. A slight edge to Portugal, nothing more. The prediction split from there. Some analysts lean Portugal, pointing to their superior quality, their knockout pedigree, and that dominant head-to-head. One outlet forecasting a 2-1 Portugal win, settled by a Ronaldo goal or a moment of Bruno Fernandes magic, perhaps deep into extra time. But others are far more skeptical of Portugal, and they're blunt about it. The view at Yahoo Sports was direct. Portugal have looked slow and stagnant. The long-running debate over whether they're actually better without Ronaldo on the pitch simply won't go away. And if you can't break down DR Congo or Colombia, are you really a serious contender? On the Croatia side, the caution is the mirror image. Yes, they're wily and experienced, but this isn't the same Croatia that reached the 2018 final, and their attack lacks Portugal's depth. The closest thing to a consensus? Portugal should edge it, but nobody is confident, and a Croatia upset, or a penalty shootout, would shock almost no one. In fact, with Croatia's defensive discipline and Portugal's recent goal drought, plenty of analysts are bracing for a cagey, low-scoring affair. Exactly the kind of tie that Croatia, with their shootout pedigree, would happily drag all the way to penalties. And the reward for surviving? It might be the toughest prize on the board. The winner of Portugal-Croatia is lined up to face Spain in the round of 16, the reigning European champions, who won their group, even if they're yet to hit top gear. In other words, get past Croatia, and Portugal could walk straight into a blockbuster Iberian derby with their next-door neighbours. There are no soft landings on this side of the bracket. And it doesn't ease up from there. Beyond a possible Spain tie, the projected road runs through the likes of Belgium or Senegal in the quarter-finals, and potentially tournament co-favourites France in the semis. Whoever comes through Portugal-Croatia is walking straight into a gauntlet. So that's the breakdown. Portugal have the talent, the favourites tag, and history firmly on their side, but real, nagging questions about their form. Croatia have the experience, the resilience, and a maestro in Modrić who simply refuses to quit, but they're a team past its peak. And hanging over all of it, this really could be the final World Cup dance for Ronaldo, for Modrić, or for both. So tell me where you stand. Does Ronaldo's Portugal finally click into gear, or does Croatia conjure yet another knockout escape? Drop your score prediction in the comments. Kickoff is July 2nd, in Toronto. Don't miss it.